ladies and gentlemen. I'm Logging PC TV, and today I'm bringing you all my Morrowind Magicka Nightblade build. This build has gone through a lot of works. I've tested a lot of sets, and I'm still trying to test what I can. Let's start off with these stats. 44k max Magicka. We have about 20k health, 13.5k max stamina, 14.5k, 1400 spell damage, and 37% spell critical. About 15k resistance, spell resistance on my back bar, and 12k physical resistance on my back bar. Really high magic recovery, 2300, that will go up later. And we have about 1000 stamina recovery. Very helpful for blocking, roll dodging, block canceling, and most importantly, breaking CC. Our critical resistance is 2400 due to 7 pieces of impen we are wearing. Now while we're here, we'll go over, I am a stage 4 vampire. I am wearing the mage mundus stone, and I have longfin pasty tri-stat food on. So for the sets, I have 5-piece neck potence, sharpened inferno staff front bar, and the weapon and spell damage enchant back bar. We have a defending neck potence resto. For the armor we have on the body, we have 1 neck potence on the body, and then these weapons here. And we have 3 neck potence jewelry, all with magic recovery glyphs. Very important. Magic recovery is sustaining you. You can keep shields up, you can keep damaging, and I would rather have a lot of recovery than spec straightly into damage, especially for a solo player. Recovery is very important. I'm still working on getting these golden, but hopefully I'll get those soon from the vendor. We have 5 amber plasm on the body. All the body pieces are max magic enchants, and amber plasm, if you don't know already, is a very powerful magicka set, giving you max magicka, spell critical, spell damage, and 5-piece magic recovery and stamina recovery. That stamina recovery, once again, very important for all things magicka based. Even though it's not attacking, a lot of magicka players don't use stamina, and if you don't have enough stamina recovery, you can't break CC, you can't block meteors, etc. You will die. 1-piece Infernal Guardian, you can run Lambris here, you can run Grothdar here, whatever it is that has a 1 piece of max magicka. That max magicka is helping you, giving you bigger shields and more damage. I've tried variations where I run Magicka here, and then I run either the Apprentice or the Thief Mundus Stone instead of the Mage for more damage. You do get more damage, but this max magicka really comes in handy in surviving as a solo player, especially with just those shields. You really need them. Alright, going over skills here. Back where I have Healing Word, great heal, big damage shield, help you survive. Pretty expensive now after the patch. 4k for both damage shields. So here we have Dampen Magic, very big damage shield, especially with 7 pieces of light armor on. Some people run Harness here for more sustain. Personally, I have enough sustain, I don't need Harness, and Dampen will save me from those high damage Stamplars and Stamblades. Double Take, some people run Mirage, gives you that resistance. I prefer the Major Expedition for kiting. This is a very powerful move, giving you major evasion, basically mitigating 15% damage you're taking in all scenarios. Crippling Grasp, arguably the most annoying move in the game. Somewhat low cost, very massive dot, and it is a root. So stamina players can't move when you're using this on them. You move this in enough, they'll be stuck roll dodging, wasting stamina, and they can't get close to you, especially with the Major Expedition. It's giving you between this and Double Take, you have Major Expedition most of the fight, and you can kite them like nobody's business. Here we have Shadow Image. This will proc your neck potence 5-piece. Lasts a long time. Panic button, it gets you out of tough situations. And it is also applying Minor Maim, reducing damage by 15%. Between this and Mass Hysteria, a lot of enemies will have Minor Maim, so you don't need to run Wizard's Riposte. I've seen a lot of Magicka Nightblades running Wizard's Riposte. I think it's pointless. I think between Mass Hysteria and the Shade, if you're using Fear correctly, you will have Minor Maim on a lot of enemies. So front bar we have Merciless Resolve. This is your big burst. This is arguably better than a Crystal Fragment. I think it is. You can time it whenever you want. With Crystal Fragments, they don't always proc when you want them. It's RNG. These you can use whenever you need them. Big burst, very big burst, and it's giving you Minor Berserk at all times, increasing your damage done by 8%. Impale is our Execute. I used to run Mage Light here for more Magicka, more shields, more recovery. The Execute just proved to be very helpful. Mass Hysteria, Fear, gets people off of you, shakes them off, taking a lot of people away from the fight with Fear, especially if they can't break CC. It's 4.5 seconds where they can't do anything. Elemental Drain, no cost whatsoever. Use it on whoever you want. It's basically giving you another Sharpened when it's on an enemy. and it's giving you minor Magicka Steel, which is giving you another 600 recovery for Magicka if you're always damaging and you're keeping this up. Swallow Soul, very low cost, spammable, tons of damage with this, very big burst off just a smooth, and you're getting a small heal and minor vitality, which is helpful when it's comboed with Light's Champion, the Rest of Ultimate. On your back bar, this Rest of Ultimate is helping you get out of tough situations, low cost, big heal for 5 seconds, major protection and major force, so if you want to burst somebody, you get a crit on that bow, they will die. Front bar ultimate, I like Soul Tether for open world. It hits multiple people, somewhat low cost, big dot and big heal, very big burst off this. In a duel, I always run Incapacitating Strike, very low cost, only 70 ultimate. It's giving them, what's it called? So they're taking 20% more damage for 6 seconds. So if you use Incapacitating Strike and then you shoot your Spectral Arrow, you are doing so much damage with that arrow. You follow it up with an Impale here, your Execute. Most players will die from that combo. Now, sometimes you might want to wait for them to roll dodge out of the incap, because you'll incap, they'll get stunned, then they'll roll dodge. So save your Spectral Bow until after the roll dodge. Charge up that heavy attack, Spectral Bow, Impale, they will die. Very few stamina players can take that much damage, and if they can, then props to them. I have the Storm, Destro Ultimate, massive damage. You all know what this does in group play, small group play, whatever you want to do. This will melt people, just a big cost, so I don't like saving up for it. I prefer the less cheesy Soul Tether or Incap. Ice Comet is big burst. You fear them, you drop the Ice Comet. So what I know is I use the Ice Comet, and while the circle's around them, you fear them, and then you shoot your bow. So they're in the fear. They're taking your Spectral Bow, and the Meteor is tending them. So that's huge burst. Kills most targets. You have to be careful that they don't block it, though. Alright, those are the ultimates. Meteor also gives you the Mage's Guild passives, so it's a good choice to run, and you can hit people at far places, such as people camping their spawns, Imperial City, if you're trying to gank somebody, whatever you want to do with that. Okay, for potions here, there's several you can use. I always try to stick to the Spell Power Potion, giving you Major Sorcery. This is your only source of Major Sorcery and Major Prophecy, giving you a lot of crit and spell damage. Big Magicka back as well. Now, if you are running against a Shield Breaker player or you need stamina back immediately, you can use the Tri-Potion, also very helpful. And for those pesky Nightblades, you can lose Major Prophecy, but you gain Stealth Detection with the Essence of Detection here. Very helpful for people cloaking away in duels, 1vx, etc. You want to kill a Cloaking Nightblade, pop this. Now this, I do not run Cloak, so Invisibility is helpful for getting away from a lot of situations. If there's just too many people, you don't want to get zerged by those Ebonheart. Use this, get away. Very helpful. Okay, now for the foods, you have Lungfin Pasty. I prefer this, so I can block more, roll dodge if I need to. Just good stamina sustain, especially because I block cancel most of the time. For players who have problems with Magicka and don't use very much stamina, you can use Witchmother's Potent Brew, a lot of Magicka recovery. It's good food to, if you just want to switch a couple of those recovery glyphs out for spell damage, you can use this instead, and you're basically trading recovery for damage. And you're also losing stamina. Now this one, if you don't need that recovery and you don't use stamina, you can use Solitude Salmon Mill Soup. More Magicka, more health, more survivability because of the health, and that Magicka has bigger shields and more damage. It's really personal preference, whatever you want to run. Alright, for champion points. I don't have max CP yet. I'm at 521. I'm working my way up. So I'll tell you what trees to put more points into if you want to. Champion points is really personal preference. However, there are ones that I feel are better than others. So 11 Siphoner, 40 Warlord, Breaking Free is very important, and you can drop recoveries with Siphoner. So 2 very important skills. Now, I'm put more points into Tenacity. If you have the champion points, whenever you're low on resources, drop 1 or 2 heavy resto attacks. Especially you pop that Restoration Staff ultimate and heavy attack a couple times on the resto bar, a lot of Magicka back. 75 Arcanist, you don't want to go to 100 here simply because you're only getting 1%. It's a waste of a lot of points for a small amount of recovery. 27 Mooncalf, stamina recovery, once again, blocking, roll dodging, breaking CC. 20 Tumbling, roll dodging when you need to. Okay, so in the blue tree, 40 Elfborn. When you crit that bow, it's going to do a lot more damage because of this. Elemental Experts and Master at Arms, both buffing your damage. Put more points into these if you have the points. That's what I'm going to be doing. And 19 Staff Expert. A lot of people don't run these points, but when you're light attacking, and your weave a lot on the Magicka Nightblade, you want these points. It adds up to a lot of damage, especially when those light attacks crit, which doesn't seem like it happens a lot, but when those happen, and those crits are hitting, it's a lot of damage. Thaumaturge, bigger cripples, bigger Destro Ults, Swallow Soul Dot, Soul Tether Dot, etc. 44 Ironclad, damage reduction. I'll be putting more points into here as I get more CC, more CP. What I meant to say. 20 resistant, when your shields go down, that critical resistance along with Impen is going to save you from an insta-kill. 2 thick-skinned reduces damage taken from dots. That doesn't seem like a big difference, but there's a lot of dots on you, especially without Purge. Okay, 37 Hardy, 37 Elemental Defender. Big reductions here. 28 Bastion, and 6 Expert Defender. Once again, a lot of people don't put the points in here, but you're taking a lot of light and heavy attack damage that a lot of people don't know is there. Now in Bastion, most people put all of their points, instead of Hardy and Elemental Defender and Ironclad, they'll stack all of them into Bastion. That is not the way to go, because I personally believe, and people have tested this, that the points you have in these and the points you have in Ironclad will help your shields. So they're making your shields harder to get through. That's a lot of resistances on your shields, so they're very tough to punch through. Now, if you don't know already, the more points you have into the green tree, the more stamina you have, the max stamina. More points you have in here, more max Magicka, more points in here, max health. So as I get higher CP, I will have even higher maximum Magicka for bigger shields and more damage, which I really want to get to that 630, but it's a long trek. Okay, so now I'll show you my stats when they are buffed. Very important, that Necropode's buff. You need to always have that up. Okay, so here, front bar. Stats are 48 chem Magicka, 1750 spell damage, almost 50% crit, 2600 magic recovery. With Elemental Drain, it's a passive 600 magic recovery if you're using it properly, and you always have your dots up, so about 3200 magic recovery. That's very big. What else do we have here? Okay, so if you proc your weapon damage enchant on your front bar or your back bar from weaving, you are now going to be up to 2174 spell damage. That's pretty big, considering the max magic you have is that much. That's a very high spell damage. Alright, now let's look at our attacks with the buffs. Okay, so front bar, big Swallow Soul, very massive Soul Tether, big AoE burst, and your bow, about 20k. Now with our weapon damage enchant procced, that bow, is up to 21.4k magic damage. Huge burst, especially on the crit. With in-cap, the debuffs from in-cap, that 20% extra damage, and the Spectral Bow, huge burst on a solo target. Okay, so now, with our shields and Necropotence buff, so we have more Magicka, shields scale off of max Magicka, our shields are up to 9,200 for dampen, and then we have bigger shields because of the light armor. We're wearing 7 pieces of light armor, even a bigger shield that you don't see. Healing Ward, very big shield, especially at low health, and a helpful heal against shield breaker players, and if you're on a line of sight, you can get that heal. Cripple, massive dot. Let's see what that is buffed. I think it's about 14k. Okay, here we are. Oh, it's 12. Okay, 12.8k dot. Here's the potion, and 15.4k dot. That is doing about 2,000 damage every second. That's how much that dot is. Huge. Okay, so as you see, very powerful. Big shields. A lot of maneuverability due to Major Expedition and the Shade. Now, one topic I want to cover here is a lot of people say that the Magicka Nightblade is just a worse version of the Magicka Sorcerer, and I beg to differ. Some things they have over us are Streak. Streak's a very good ability for escaping, and they have Dark Deal for Sustain. Their Execute is powerful, but it only procs at 20%, and ours is 25%. One thing we have over them. We also have Fear. Unblockable CC. So good. We have the Shade for teleporting, and we have a big Cripple Dot, which also roots people. It's ranged talons. And we also have, very important, the 15% major evasion dodge chance that a lot of Magicka classes, in fact all the Magicka classes don't have this, except the Nightblade. Unless they want to run Shuffle, this is very helpful, 15% damage mitigation. We also only have the solo bar a pet, whereas they have to double slot that pet to proc neck prone if they want to. Swallow Soul is a cheap spammable. They have to use either the Lightning Bolt, Endless Fury, or Crushing Shock. We just have a very nice spammable. We also have Incap and Soul Tether. Two amazing ultimates. This is just a better version of Dawnbreaker. This is a huge solo target burst. Okay. I think that's all. This is the Force Quit build, if you want a name. Play on my name, Login PC. I'm trying to get my CP up. Things are going well. Liking this build. Test it out. It's not easy to use. Takes practice. Magicka Nightblade is not an easy class, but it is worth it in the end. I guarantee it. Alright, you want any help? Go ahead and mess with me. Whatever you want to do. My PSN is LoginPC. And have a nice day, folks.